Sam Strong from Melbourne, Australia. Been shooting on and off for about 20 years now. Probably got into it, just skating with my mates back in the day. Probably had about a 7-year hiatus until earlier this year, and hurt my hand at work and was just walking around the streets and decided to pick up a camera again, and kind of been obsessed with it for about 6 months now again, so it's good. Yeah. So we're in St Kilda, my neck of the woods. I reckon we're going to cruise through the park now. Sometimes we get some cool pigeon shots and stuff here. See if we're lucky. Sometimes there's like a whole mob of pigeons, yeah. I noticed recently, I don't know where they're hanging out, but I've got a few up here today. Yeah. I leave the house and I don't really have any particular thing I'm like gonna focus on or anything. I'll just go out, and when I see something, I'll see it. Like along the foreshore here, I've had some more quieter shots where, like I got a shot there a while back, just 2 people coming out from the sea bass and walking into the ocean. I don't know, something about it I like. It's a real quiet shot, but no, it's kind of eerie or ominous, like just walking into the sea in the middle of winter. I found it interesting. But then, cruise down Swanston Street in the middle of a Saturday or whatever, and it's jam-packed and there's heaps of interesting characters filling the frame or whatever. It's I like both. Like I said, not really a set focus I go out with or anything. It's more see what's out there. And you never know. Like I feel like, sometimes I'll be walking around like nothing's happening, and you walk around one corner and it's like, whoa, like look at the light here, or up here actually. I wonder if it's around. Yeah, we might check out this. This is like the Blessington Street Bonneville Pontiac. I know, I just think it's a really cool car. I've kind of got a few shots of it, and it's kind of fun that it's so close to home, so I can, you can kind of shoot it throughout the year and throughout the different seasons. Just something, I just like the car. I like to walk past it and check it out every time. Good one to shoot with film shots like that, My hit and miss rate isn't too great, so film becomes pretty expensive when shooting street, but might focus on more like shots where I can set up. I guess if I'm out and I'm cruising, I'm walking the streets and I see the light's good down there, then I'll go for the light, I'll follow the light. Even if I'm on track to go somewhere else, I think that's good. If I see that I've learnt that in the past when I've gone somewhere and gone, I really should have gone and followed the light. It was better down there. So now wherever the light's good, I'll follow that. On a day like today though, it's pretty flat. So that kind of eliminates that, and you just go where the action is or something interesting. I'd never been out to Footscray Market before, and I got out there pretty early and they're setting up, and I was just like blown away, man. Like it was a crazy place, like going to like the fishmongers, and they've got like crayfish flipping out of like tubs there, and Italian, Australian fishmonger. Then he's like just talking like fluent Vietnamese with the customer. I'm like, whoa, like so much culture in that place. And even like the building itself is like, it's pretty dated now and has got heaps of character in it. Yeah, no, I've just been cruising back in the city mostly. I was up in Sydney for 5 weeks, which was really cool. Met a bunch of cool other photographers up there, and they're all super welcoming. It was great, and it's what it kind of, I reached out to a few heading up there because I wasn't familiar with Sydney. Hung out a few times, but it made me think, I should probably do more of that down here and start reaching out, which I have been, which is cool, and meeting up with yourself. And I do tend to like to shoot by myself, or not in huge groups, because especially if you're kind of going for that candid stuff, I feel like it's hard enough when you're by yourself, let alone a mob of photographers with their cameras hanging around their necks. And also, we're all pretty similar. We all see the same interesting things, which is kind of cool to see, but everyone sees whatever, a bubble machine or whatever, but then it's just like kind of just the scene gets kind of mobbed. I've been shooting a lot of black and white recently since going up to Sydney. It's kind of inspired by a few other photographers up there, like Knox Birdie's stuff on the trains. Yeah, raining in Melbourne, eh? Who would have thunk it? Yeah, like I definitely don't just shoot when it's sunny. I get it if light and shadow stuff is your thing, which I like too, but you get some moody shots, like we're seeing out here, foggy, it's probably, just a little bit too on the wet side to where, risk ruining a lens over. I'll shoot in whatever, and I think like I was saying before, you get some cool stuff. Haven't done any of it, but I've seen some cool stuff with flash and rain, working my day job, 5 days a week, Monday to Friday, so I'm pretty keen to, whether the sun's shining or not, get out and at least give it a go, Actually got this not too long ago, Fuji X-T5, got the 18mm f2 lens, came with a square head on it, which I thought was pretty dope. But yeah, man, I love this thing. I was on a XT30 before, so it's a decent jump in capabilities of what the camera can get. But in saying that, XT30 was a great little camera too. I got some shots that I'm happy with on that too. You don't need the best gear ever to take good shots. But yeah, whatever you got though, shoot with it. I don't think it really matters what you're shooting with. It's more, how you're shooting it. Yeah, because if it's candid street photography, then having a little camera like that is perfect. Yeah, I kind of feel like this is still a pretty small camera, really. You're not going to chuck it in your pocket, but it's kind of why I went with the f2 as well, because it's a smaller lens, it's more compact. Yeah, it's not a huge camera, I'd still struggle with it, like trying to get close to people. It's because it was kind of either this or the 23mm I was thinking about getting, which is a 35 equivalent. And I was thinking, that's kind of just pretty close to that still. And I was like, this will force me to get close. It was kind of a challenge for myself, And also, I think you just kind of adapt. Like yesterday, just for the first time, I was just like walking around, camera around my neck, and just like kind of like something I hadn't done before, just like my thumb on the shutter, and not looking through a viewfinder, but having a good idea of what that lens, the frame is like on that lens, and just taking some shots without framing up through the viewfinder. And I've got a couple there I was pretty happy with. So, and you can get a lot closer, like rather than sticking the camera up to your face and getting in someone's grill. You can get something I want to keep doing.
Hey guys, I'm really sorry. I've got a booking coming here at 12 o'clock.
Yep,
Okay.
no worries. Yeah. When you're in a busy crowd and there's people everywhere and you know it's tight and you're taking a shot, or big events and there might be other people taking photos, even if it's on their phone or whatever, it's kind of easier, I think. There's light off this tree right now. I'll get one of you. As far as advice, like, shoot what you want to shoot, you know, like, if you're having fun shooting just in sunny conditions, go with it, shall we go? And then if you get a little bored of that, then go out when it's not so sunny. Try that. Like, I think as long as you're having fun and you're enjoying what you're doing, for me, like, this is just from my personal perspective, you know, I'm not making a living off of this. I've got that luxury of, I can shoot whatever I want. If you want to challenge yourself and do something different, cool, but I don't think it should ever, for me, I don't want it to ever feel like a chore or work, you know, like I do enough of that from Monday to Friday, you know, like, follow what gets you pumped and excited and inspires you, and probably don't get too caught up in like Instagram either. Like, it's a really great thing, you know. I wouldn't be here with you now if it wasn't for Instagram, and I wouldn't met, you know, a lot of other people like up in Sydney if it wasn't for Instagram. It's great. You know, I don't get too hung up on being dictated to by what's gonna get more views or likes. Like, you know, if you see something and you like it, shoot it, you know, share it, whatever, you know. So like, just don't take the camera away as soon as you've taken the shot. Just keep the camera up and maybe even walk past like I did there. And it's, you know, doesn't look like you're getting a photo of them. Sneaky tricks of the trade, but you know, it's, I guess to the outsider it could kind of seem a bit strange, you know. You know, we're all just one big same family, and we all got the same feelings and emotions and whatever, and struggles and in life, and capturing those candid moments, and that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to capture that more empathy through my images, because that's what it's done for me, you know, and it's been good. It's a good thing. It's a pretty polarizing topic, photographing homeless people, but I think how you go around it, or what your intentions are with it, is what makes a difference. You know, it's if your intentions are to get the shot, or it's for your own personal gain, then, like, for me, that's not cool. But I do think it's weird to not shine a light on it. You know, I saw an article from Vice there a little while back, and it was shocking. I remember it being shocking. It was a large percentage of people seeking assistance from homelessness charities are actually in full-time employment. People in need, I think it's a lot broader than what a lot of people perceive it to be. There's a lot of everyday Australians that are doing it really tough, man, and they're struggling. I think it is important to shine a light on that, and so it's something I've been kind of doing a little bit, but I'll always stop and make a connection now and get consent. Tell them sort of what I'm trying to do, and you know, after a while I'll might be able to do something with it and actually shine a light on the issue, and maybe make a fundraiser event and actually do something to help out. I like this spot here. This is a kind of a cool spot. Like, it's not real incognito, but yeah, I don't tend to hang out in spots really, but this is one of them I don't mind spending a bit of time at. Yeah, like never normally more than like 5 minutes really on a spot, unless it's like an incredible one. I found one in Sydney. I think I hung out there about 10 or 15 minutes even, which is an eternity for me. But yeah, I've got a couple here that I quite like, but you kind of stick out like a bit of a sore thumb as you're kind of hidden up next to this wall. What's good, like, I don't think there should be limitations or rules on how to take a photograph. Everyone's got a different process and a different, different way of doing things. And if you're getting good images from it, then why not? They might not all be good, but they're never all good. And don't get too bummed if you don't come home for a while without anything you like. Oh yeah, that's me. Okay, thank you, mate. Yes, probably best on my Instagram, Samuel_strong_photography. I've got a website too, the link's there. Haven't updated that one for a while though, but yeah, check it out and feel free to DM or email me. Very open to catching up, meeting new people, and yeah, answering any questions anyone may have. But yeah, no, thanks for having me, man. It's awesome what you're doing out here, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of them. So thank you. Legend. Cheers, man. Flinders Street Station, pretty iconic Melbourne landmark. I mean, it's always busy usually, depending what time, but good mixture of people. I feel like it's kind of like a go-to. At least for me, I like to start around here or a bit further down, hop off the tram from St Kilda and make my way down through here, and depending what the light's doing, either up Swanston or Elizabeth Street. Sometimes I feel like it's a little overdone as well, but if you can kind of maybe take the focus away from the actual station, as beautiful as it is, you do get a lot of interesting characters roll through there. So, like from where we're standing right now, there's that many shots taken of Flinders Street Station from right here, which, they're great shots, like great postcard shot, but that's not really what speaks to me. Or I guess if you're not from Melbourne, they're not overdone. If you're from wherever else and outside of Australia or even, and you probably wouldn't think a Melbourne tram shot's overdone. You'd think, oh cool, where's that? This is me capturing my life as I see it, and the camera kind of takes me to places as well. You kind of follow the light, or you see an interesting group of guys or whatever, and you might have a quick chat and get to know someone. If there's iconic landmarks in my shots, that's just where I was at that time. rather than, I've been doing candid stuff for so long now, I feel like I've got out of touch with, making connections, and I don't know, I just want to be like a well-rounded photographer, like, I know some people focus on specific styles or whatever, and that's cool, but people who inspire me are like people that can hold it down in everything, and like street documentary, travel stuff, like war photographers. Stephen DuPont, I feel like he's a super well-rounded photographer, color, black and white. Sam Ferris, color, black and white. That's what makes me like, wow, that's cool stuff. Win some work along the way for sure. Build a bit more of a commercial portfolio, whether that be, like kind of like events. I've got an event flying down to Tassie for next month. It's actually a charity event that friends of mine run, and they've been kind enough to get me down there to shoot that for them. So that'd be cool. I just love it. Like, I love photography. I'm fucking obsessed, you know what I mean? So it's like, it doesn't seem like work to me, and brought, like, going back on being a well-rounded photographer, I kind of, I just say yes to things, I'm just like, fuck it, like, I'm gonna say yes to it. Cool hat. I mean, that's like what I started out on, like black and white 35 mil. I've actually got a set of negatives at home, and on the one roll of film, there's like shots when I'm like, I think I'm like probably around 14 years old, like me and my mates, like skateboarding and stuff. And then there's a gap, like a 13-year gap, and then 27 when I picked up that camera again on the one roll of film. So that's pretty interesting, looking back and seeing what I was shooting at that age. It's a lot of like, it was the same though, it was the street. It was like, we were out on the street with our skateboards, and I was just capturing the same thing I do now, just capturing life as I see it. So ASPI is the Australian Association of Street Photographers Incorporated. Yeah, it's just a group. They do photo walks, usually once a month or thereabouts. They do exhibitions. It's just a group of like-minded people, and I think there's a lot of people behind the scenes that are making this whole thing come together. So I'm really grateful for that, we're here. Hello, how you going? Yeah, so this is my contribution to CITOA 2023. All of these were shot here in Melbourne. Try to keep a bit of a kind of thread through the images, all shot on similar settings, trying to tie a bit of a theme, going from left to right, kind of like, as you read a book, which I kind of found a little tricky, because there was probably some other images that standing alone I preferred, but they just didn't work. So yeah, I found that aspect a little challenging. These are all shot from a good few months or so ago now as well, and I think that progression curve from when you pick up a camera again is quite steep to begin with. So to be honest, I kind of look back on some of these, and I'm not that stoked on. I mean, the first one here though is I still really like this image. I was actually shooting more on the jetty, and people coming past the jetty to the left of this image. This guy just came along and just stopped right on the corner, and I just noticed it, and I liked how the light looked and the shadows and just these lines from on the corner. So he's kind of like looking to the right, and moves on to this one where we got the big Buddha. I like the colours in this shot. It would have been nice maybe if this lady in the foreground was looking back or something, but that's street photography, I guess. And you know, it's a Buddha looking left to right. Onto another one shot at Fed Square, same day actually, and there was probably a couple other images I quite like. This one was a tough one to pick. There was a couple there there was two that was really tossing up. But I think what sealed the deal was the girl here pointing, that pointing left to right in the centre. And it's one of those shots you kind of look at more and you kind of see more, with the bubbles capturing faces and a couple of kids walking down the land into this demonstration that was going on in the city, environmental protest. Mad props, that they had set up, and then they had these three women and a young girl in these dresses, faces painted white. I just thought it was so peculiar. Moving in to another one in St Kilda, which is end of the day, sunset. So kind of tying it up at the end, starting in St Kilda, sunrise, and back in St Kilda at sunset. Kind of another tricky one to pick. There was a couple other frames where there was more birds, just filled the frame a bit better. So, and then having this ominous kind of figure in the foreground, just right at the end, from left to right. He was in a couple of the other frames, but this was the best. So yeah, I mean, it's interesting, like, just been shooting black and white for over 2 months now. Pretty well the entire time. I think I might have taken 1, maybe 2 frames in colour. It's interesting looking back on the colour stuff. Entering or coming to exhibitions, a good thing. Yeah, yes, definitely. It can get kind of expensive though, I mean, to print and frame. I think for these 5, it's about $750 roughly, so there's that, it's not cheap. I think it's good to, even if you're just keeping them for yourself, to have and to be able to lay out. And for me, it's good to start to see maybe themes throughout your images, or how you can sequence things better. It's just a really handy way of flipping images around on a table and starting to build a thread or tell a story, or build a project or a body of work. It's just nice, like do some little prints, give some to your friends, it's just a fun thing to do. I think that's where photography is meant to be. It's meant to be in print, and up on a wall for people to enjoy. Yeah.